Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bree, and I'm here with my girl Lee.
Yes, it's your girl Lee here, and we are Millennial Besties, the pod, episode 3. Okay.
3.
Now we told y'all last time that we had a special guest for you this time, and you
Come on,
rocking with a
Birdman.
true Aries, and you know what I'm saying, and you rocking with a true Gemini. And if we told you we're gonna do something, we gonna do something. So, with no further ado, I'd like to introduce to you our guest, Saki Savavi.
Woo! Welcome, Sak.
All right, y'all. So I told y'all last week that we was going to have a special guest, okay? And when I meant special guest, I meant Saki Savavi, okay?
Woo!
Now, if you don't know, let me just fill you in a little bit quickly. I met Saki. Saki is my sister Shay, who is the genius behind this podcast. Shay, say hello.
Hi.
She's an awkward Capricorn, clearly.
I was going to say Capricorn. Hello.
Saki's a Taurus. When I first met Saki, oh my gosh, she was this ball of fire. Her and my sister were going to Morgan University, and they were young ladies. But Saki, what I liked about Saki is, one, she's an East Coast girl as well. She's from Philly. Saki is so intelligent, so chill, but at the same time, she don't give a fuck. So don't try her, and I can relate to that because I'm an Aries. Don't try us. But other than that, like, she's such a vibe. And most importantly, Ree, you can probably let them know about this because this is how Ree and Saki met. Saki put us onto natal charts. If you don't know about a natal chart, you don't know life. Okay, so Ree, do you remember that? Can you let them know about your first experience with Saki?
I'm just thinking about that first night, and I will never forget this because this was the night before Thanksgiving, and everybody knows that's one of the biggest, like, nights of the year, right, to get out and get after it. And Sak and Shay and Lee happened to be in town at the same time in Baltimore. And I just remember specifically being in my apartment at the time. And I think, Sak, you were like, oh, have you heard of natal charts? Have you ever ran a natal chart? And I was like, what is that? And she started reading mine, and it read me for filth. And I became obsessed. And
obsessed.
Many of you since then. And what year was this? Like 2018? Probably.
I don't know. We were like 20. We weren't even old enough to get in the bars.
Y'all were. We had to sneak y'all in the bar that night. Remember, we snuck y'all in the bar that night.
Yeah. We went to the Point in Fells. We went to Wu-Tang Wednesdays in Fells Point. Yep. Shout out to Wu-Tang Wednesdays. DJ Mike
They
L.
played Freeway in there.
Yeah.
We lost
So Wu-Tang Wednesdays was like a 90s hip hop and R&B party that they would have every Wednesday in Baltimore. And when the squad was in town, we had to hit it up. So yeah, that was amazing. That was an amazing night. But ever since then, I don't know if you realize this, Saki, that ever since
changed
then,
our lives.
You changed my life. I have been running natal charts like
on everybody,
crazy. On literally everybody. And anybody who knows, I'm sure if any of my friends, associates, exes, whatever.
You got a natal chart ran.
You got a natal chart ran. You know you did. You know what's coming when I'm asking you birth date, time, date, and location. And yeah, I just want you to know you have no idea how much you've touched my life and influenced me.
Wow.
Yes.
Without any further ado, with that being said, Saki has moved to the West Coast. Ree lives on the West Coast. She's in Arizona.
Southwest.
Oh shoot. Okay. Bet. Yeah.
And then me and Shay's all the way on the East Coast. I'm in Miami, but Shay and Saki are really close friends and have stayed close friends over the years. Me and Ree have stayed close friends over the years. And when we paralleled with each other, we all connected and learned a lot from Saki a long time ago. So I can only imagine the knowledge that she has now. She's doing really big things with her gifts via astrology and more. And with that being said, Saki, please tell us about yourself. What you got going on, girl? What is your gift? Please, I want you to share it with everybody on our podcast.
Hi, everybody. First of all, Ree, I did not know that, and I'm just so excited and honored to be here. Y'all have impacted my life so much. So, little background story on me. I'm from Philly. I went to Morgan State University with Shay in Baltimore, lived in Baltimore for 5 years, and I've been living in Tucson, Arizona for like the last 4 years. So I'm a pandemic baby. And yeah, I'm a multi-hyphenate artist. So I'm a filmmaker, an astrologer, an energy worker, a writer. I be cooking, I be hiking, I be
Oh,
solo
yeah.
camping. So I'm really just out here living life. I think the core part of my medicine is a ley line practitioner. And as we go throughout our talk today, I'll explain a little bit more about what that is, but don't want to like front load y'all with so much information just yet. But yeah, I'm a ley line practitioner. So a lot of my medicine deals with showing up for the earth, showing up for sacred meridian points around the earth via astrology, connecting with different communities. And that's really the core of, that's like the bridge and glue of all of my multi hyphenation, if that's a word, is my commitment to being an earth steward and my commitment to bridging higher concepts, celestial concepts with our everyday life and just making it accessible. So just kind of,
I like how you said medicine. I like how you said medicine because a lot of people don't understand. But Ree, I think you got some questions to ask first.
I do. I was just taking a look at them. So Saki, how did you get into astrology in the first place? And what are the natal gifts that you specialize in? Can you tell us a little bit about that? Tell the audience about that.
Oh, that's such a loaded question, bro. Okay. So I say about 2013 is when I started. So there's two parts to this answer, right? So one part is the embodied, lived study, and then like overlaying that slash grounding that is my remembering, right? So I believe in reincarnation. I don't know if y'all believe in reincarnation, but that's the setup of my worldview. And so as far as astrology goes, I've been a timekeeper for many lifetimes. So what does that mean? That means that for many lifetimes, I've been concerned with our planet's relationship to our solar system and to our galaxy, whether that's Jalagi, aka Cherokee astrology, whether that's the Zolkin, aka Mayan astrology, whether that's Western astrology, aka tropical astrology, or Eastern astrology, Vedic or sidereal astrology. I'm really into time, right? And so that's been a theme that I've been exploring for like several lifetimes now. But then in this lifetime, around like 2013, 2014, is when I started to really remember. It's when I started to really like bust out journals. I used to like in college, like my friends used to come over to my house, like the first house I moved to off campus. So like the room I was renting, and I would put on like YouTube videos and I would like write their natal charts down in my like journal. And I'd be like, okay, so
you did that for Rhiannon. You did that for Rhiannon when you first met her.
God damn. I don't even remember that. It's crazy, but yeah.
I remember it very vividly.
I've done that for so many people, and it's crazy, like the full circle when I like relink with people in like more recent years, and they're like, yo, there's this one time I came over to your house with your ex-girlfriend, and we were just sitting in your basement, you talking about astrology. I'm like, yeah, bro, I be yapping. So, so yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. And as far as what I specialize in, my most popular session is astrocartography. Right. So astrocartography, and this links into like my ley line work as a land practitioner. Astrocartography is the practice of taking your natal chart, right, and laying it across a map of the earth, and then seeing which places within the earth would activate certain cycles in your life, in your chart. Now, what makes it like, what I bring to it that's a little bit different is that fact that I'm also a psychic intuitive practitioner, right? So my strongest psychic gift is claircognizance. So for those that don't know, claircognizance is psychic intuitive knowing. I'm an Aquarius moon, so it's that like I be knowing, don't know how I'm knowing.
That's why I love you. That's why I love you.
There it is. There it is.
Shout out to Alex. I'm just like randomly channeling shit, right? But in these sessions, I'm also accessing the gifts of clairvoyance and of clairaudience. So again, for those that don't know, clairvoyance is psychic sight and clairaudience is psychic hearing. And so how that shows up for me, because these gifts are very particular to the person. So for me, when I turn up my clairvoyance, first of all, I turn it up. Kind of imagine that it's like a little gauge. I turn it up depending on the relevance of the session. And it's kind of like an overlay that comes on. So I'm still seeing, I'm not like in a different dimension, seeing some different shit. I call it like seeing while seeing, right? And then with the clairaudience, I'm almost like hearing while hearing. So I'll be talking to a client, and then I'll hear like their guides, or a lot of, if people have deep roots in the South, they fucking aunties be coming. And
That's
like,
me.
I'm like, okay, step back, auntie. This ain't about you. Okay. So that's really the medicine that I bring to my astrocartography sessions, because like I said, like I mentioned earlier, right, my primary focus is earth stewardship, and helping people ignite whatever their path is. You could be a lawyer, you could be a podcaster, you could be a doctor, but there's a way to do that that is deeply rooted in the earth, and that is really considerate of the land spirits and the elementals of that place. So when I'm doing astrocartography, I'm tuning into my client's team, I'm tuning into their agreements with the land. And so, for example, everybody want to go to Hawaii, right? But the Hawaiians don't want you there. So you could have a positive line over that land, but those elementals that I've built a really strong connection with, especially Hawaii, Samoa, and New Zealand, they're like, yes, like, nah, we don't know. So, even in astrocartography, right, you can still be incredibly extractive with the way that you move, right? You can be like, I have a Venus line over this place, so I want to go there because I'm trying to get my back blown out, or whatever, right? Whatever.
Nice.
But
Nice.
right. But what I bring to it is, okay, you see what the astrology is up to, right? But what are the land spirits saying? What are your actual agreements with this land? Will the medicine, will your presence be an equal exchange? And that's my most popular session. I also do natal chart readings called Give Me the Signs, where I deep dive into people's charts. And I was telling a client this week, actually, that my goal with this isn't to like transfer what I think is happening in your chart. My goal with this is to help you is to help you rejoin our cosmic community. So understanding, how does our solar system move? What is the astronomical and astrological implications of your chart? Right. And then with the transference of that worldview, more so, folks are like, okay, now you give me a little bit, but I feel confident to go deeper with myself. So I'm gonna stop there because I can't.
And that was perfect where you stopped, because what I took from what you said, I was raised in an African American community, more or less. So was Rhiannon, so was Shay, right? And the first thing, unfortunately, that a lot of our old school people say is, "Oh, don't get involved in that hoodoo or whatever." They all have a name for it or whatever, and that hurts my heart because, the biggest thing I took from what you were saying is the connection to spirit, the connection to the universe, and that I feel like we brought this up last time, but I'm gonna say it again. Because of the slave trade, and what colonization did to certain places, disclaimer, not every place, because not everybody was colonized by a white person, but for my ancestors who were, right? For Native American people who were affected by white colonizers, right? A lot of us have been, literally the Native Americans have been put on different parts of the land, right? Black people have had their spirituality and their language taken away from them, right? So with that being said, in the process, there was this person, this slave owner, also telling Black people, don't do your practice, that's evil, or you would get whipped for it, and I think a lot of these gifts that you have, any indigenous person, whether indigenous to Africa or indigenous to New Zealand or indigenous to Australia, they are very aware, basically what I'm trying to say is, of the spiritual connection that people have to the land, the spiritual connection that we have to the sky, the universe, the cosmos. But unfortunately, a lot of Black people are very scared of that connection, because people have told us, the society that we live in has told us, oh, that's evil, that's black magic, that's bad, that's whatever, right? I personally disagree with that. I very much would like to learn more from you, and I'm very interested in what I have learned from that comes with the gifts of, like you were saying, clairvoyance, and I have it in my bloodline. And it's just such a shame, because a lot of my family members, and which is leading me to the next question that I have for you, they are raised Christian, or some family members are raised another religion where it's like, oh, no, you can't you can't do that stuff, you know? And that leads me to the question that I have for you. Does astrology conflict with your family upbringing, or do they support your journey with the gifts that you have? Because I can say with mine, no disregard to my family, but my family is very Christian. They're very like, when I mention anything about astrology, they're like, oh, no, you know? And it hurts because I'm like, you know what? We come from our ancestors, you know, back in the day, we're very in tune with our ancestors and the spirits and stuff. And now it's like, we look at it like it's such a bad thing. And it's like, dang, I feel like it's frustrating. Anyways.
No,
that was my question.
That's perfect. And you may have to remind me, hopefully I'll remember the question, but I also want to say that one of the most like beautiful things about my work and what I do is that there are so many folks that are ready to remember. And I say
remember. Yes.
My clientele, it ranges from folks. I have a large clientele from that were born in like the 60s and the 70s. And then of course I have my 90s, 80s babies, but I have a very large like intergenerational range. And I first want to put a lot of respect on our ancestors who incarnated and chose to forget. Because there was a point in time, especially talking about Black American history, right, where we had to forget in order to survive. And so the biggest form of their remembering was to reproduce so that we can remember. Ooh. Ooh. Yes. Do you feel what I'm saying? So I have a lot of respect for those generations, and I have a lot of respect for the Ocha houses, the ATR generations in like the 70s that were like bringing Lukumi over here from Cuba, that were bringing Ishete over here, that were bringing all these different African traditional religions over here for like, who are like over 40 years senior in Osha, right? So like they have had their elekes, they have been like Oshun priestess, Shango priestess, Ogun priest for like decades. And I think that, you know, one of the biggest honors that they have is to see us be able to remember these traditions so boldly, right? And it's oftentimes that those of us that are on this path are born into families that are like, nah, I don't know about that shit, right? So for me, being born in Philly and raised in Philly, so my mom is incredibly Muslim. Like the sect of Islam that she is called Salafi. So it's a sect of Sunni. And my stepdad growing up, he is still the imam of the largest Salafi Muslim community in Philadelphia. He actually gave Gervonta Davis his shahada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. If y'all look it up, his light skinned ass, that's him. So, wow. Yeah, so my mom, I've always been, so I'm a Taurus sun, Aquarius moon, Capricorn rising. I have always been sponsored by Uranus. What I mean by that is I've always been eclectic. I've always been individual and weird. So my mom and I went through a pretty tough time in high school. And I think that she thought I was going to be some crazy flunked out deviant, whatever. But I have an ancestral moral code, right? And so through college, through having like a really good sister, not even a friend, sister like Shay and Yuli and Ree, and just having positive people around me, I feel like my healing journey really deepened. And as that deepened, and me always returning to my mom and being like, yo, this is what I'm on. I'm not going to shrink what I'm on. Her capacity to accept me has grown. Right now, my mom and my three little sisters are like, they live in Egypt now.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, my little sister, who's an Aquarius sun, she just turned 20 actually, like a couple weeks ago. But she lives in Egypt studying Arabic, and she's all about the language. And I love geeking out with her about like the different dialects and stuff, but I digress. And so my mom and my other little sister are there for a couple months just visiting and testing it out. And like I don't have to shrink around my identity. And I think that me not having to shrink is because I'm not in rebellion mode anymore. I'm in, this is who I am, and this is my worldview. But I also know how to translate what I'm saying to your language and your worldview, because what
so you can receive it.
Yeah, because what I'm saying is
That's
universal.
Huge.
it's universal,
Yeah.
you know? And so on the astrology end, I'll still be like, oh yeah, ma, cause you a Leo and and she'll be like, okay. Not necessarily accepting it, but more so listening.
Able to listen.
She's hearing. She's open to hearing.
And listening to my medicine, and then to kind of make it a little bit more objective. You know, astrology is not an opinion, right? You would not go out and, I mean, you can go outside and be like, oh, I don't know, or I don't believe in winter, but it's still going to be cold. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's still going to be cold. So it's
I love that you said that.
Yeah, it's one of, I mean, I don't know too much. I've never read the Bible, but the beautiful thing about Islam is that it is the last of the Abrahamic religions. So growing up, we are taught about Musa or Moses. We're taught about Isa or Jesus. So I know that they're all the people of the same book, right? And in each of these books, you know, you might have to do a little deciphering on your own, but you'll find points about astrology, right? The three wise men and all these different things. And then to what you were saying earlier, Lee, about hoodoo, hoodoo practitioner. So pausing to just say a little bit more about my ancestry. So my dad's side is from Bowman, South Carolina. My last name is Bowman. My mom's side is from Ahoskie, North Carolina, also Virginia and Chesapeake Bay. We also go all the way down to Florida too. And so from low country, Gullah Geechee, all the way up to Chesapeake
Oh, we
Bay.
got Gullah in us too. I didn't know you had Gullah in you. We got Gullah in us through my great-grandfather.
That's what I do. That's why I got this head like that. You see? So
that's same.
And so we actually hid our African traditional spirituality in our religious texts, whether that was the Quran or whether that was the Bible, right? And so again, just putting a lot of respect on those ancestors who chose to forget so that we can remember another day. And this is that day, you know? So, and I think they like when I pose it like that too. They be like, yeah. You know,
making them proud.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. Thank you for answering that, Saki. Thank you.
Another question for you. So how do you feel astrology has helped you in navigating this world currently as an African-American woman, especially moving from the East Coast to the West Coast? And we had a little conversation during the last pod about just like challenges moving from one specific region to another. So I'd love to hear how astrology has played into that for you.
Because you also moved alone like we did. Like I moved out here with no friends. Ree moved out there at first to her first trip to LA with like not too much support. Shay, you know, you moved out there, you know, it's not easy to move as a woman alone, honestly, and not have your tribe be there with you.
Yeah, honestly, you know, so another loaded question. So I'm gonna try to answer it from 3 layers. Okay, so astrology has helped me in my travels and in my movements because, first of all, how I do it is firstly as a ley line practitioner and as an earth steward. So when I move to a place, the first community that I'm introducing myself to is the land, right? So for me, that looked like, and I'm down here in Arizona. So for me, that looked like going on solo hikes and just giving offerings. And how I do like land offerings is just briefly, I'll give some food that is native to the people that are from there. So there's a lot of Apache, Tohono O'odham down here, Yaqui down
and
here.
And Dene. You guys have Dene out there too, right?
Dene is a little bit further up. Like near like Phoenix type, but I'm sure that they did their thing and came down, and Hopi's out here too. And so they really love like blue cornmeal flour, amaranth, tobacco, of course. And so I'll give like those offerings, but then I see myself as part of this community, right? So what you do if you show up at somebody's Thanksgiving spot, you gotta bring them. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm bringing chamomile because my grandma loves chamomile. I'm bringing copal because I love copal resin. I'm bringing bucor. I'm bringing like little candies and sweets, and I'm chilling with the elementals there. And so that was like my first soft landing, because that ley line work, that earth stewardship is really what grounds my astrological explorations. And then to the astrology point, I actually have a Uranus trining the midheaven line going through Arizona, right? And so Uranus, this line pretty much is on my moon, right? And so that Uranus on trining the midheaven, and the midheaven is the axis in the natal chart where you find like your career path, where you find your greater legacy. And then that Uranus energy is like the starlight essence of your pure, authentic energy. So for me, that astrological impact has been me being able to build my business, me being able to build my clientele, me being able to work from home. Okay, work remote
Yes,
for 4 years
goals.
now. For 4 years, holding it down.
I've seen your growth. And I've just been blown away. Like, so proud of you, Saki. Honestly,
I used to be a little flunked out, sure you know. So yeah, like so that astrocartography point has really been has really gifted me with a lot of space to explore the medicine that I incarnated to give. Yeah.
Oh man, what stood out to me with that was, and I watched your videos, and I'm like, damn, I actually want to do this with Ree because I feel like we would have a blast.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it won't be a solo trip. It won't be a solo trip. It will be like a twin trip. But I love your solo trip videos.
I do.
I love.
Yeah,
those.
that's just cool.
Are you talking about camping?
And your solo camping when you cook,
I
and
love
then you're
that.
like, I just want to put myself in the video and just vibe with you, like, because I've never done camping, period, let alone in a beautiful place like that.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been camping.
Yeah,
because I
we
like
need to do that.
fire dance with saguaro.
Oh,
ribs,
nice.
like the typical cactus, saguaro cactus.
Oh, yeah, that's what. Yep.
Yeah, they have wooden ribs, so I fire dance with those ribs, and I would love to see you do some capoeira out here in the desert.
Oh, I'll vibe out.
Yeah,
with the
we need
capoeira.
that.
Yeah.
We need that.
And with that being said, that leads us to the next question. What made you want to start solo camping? And I asked this because I ain't gonna lie, like when it's not dark, I'm good. But as soon as it gets dark, I'd be scared a little bit. Because going back to what we were speaking about before, I'm a little intuitive too. And since I was a little kid, I can feel spirits sometimes, right? But I never tapped into that. And I guess I learned how to block it out because that scares me. I don't know anything about it. Nobody has taught me it. But with that being said, I know when you're in an open space, like camping on that land that you're on, especially, man, I would be tripping myself out at night. How did you begin doing the solo camping trips? And please let me know about any supernatural things that you have seen or felt or your experience.
Okay. So I moved out here from Baltimore because my ex-girlfriend and I were staying on 160 acres of land for like 3 months, a little bit more south than where I am now. And I fell in love with the space. Like being an East Coast girl, being a city girl, I did not know that there was so much space available in the US. And so like even when clients come and they're like, I want to try, I'm like, right, but you don't forget that there are so many different countries within this country geographically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I made it my mission to move back out here, got my car. And I started hiking crazy. Then I'm like, I want to start camping. I want to start solo camping. I don't want to go to a campsite because campsites you have to pay for. It's not much though. It's like no more than like $20, but you are like in a little lot next to other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Really impersonal. And so I got into like boondocking / dispersed camping. And that's where I learned about BLM land, not Black Lives Matter land, but it stands for the Bureau of Land Management, right? So there's this government project agency thing basically where they preserve like the natural landscape across the country, and you can camp on this land for free. And there's like places that have like pre-made camp pits with like rocks and stuff, and they like do maintenance on those places like once a year. And you can stay on that land for up to 14 or 21 consecutive days. Then you just got to move to like at least 20 miles away, which
you just can't stay past that time.
Yeah, if you have like an RV, like that's simple as fuck. So I found the spot that I go to, and I got like all this like overbought gear. And this was like July 2021, I believe. And I like got there like 11 a.m. July, Arizona. So it was hot as fuck, and I was done. And I was like, what do I do now? Right? And my mom was like, you're not done. You could just go home. I was like, no, I want to stay overnight. So I stayed overnight, and it was the most beautiful thing. I think the moon was out. It was really bright, and I didn't feel alone again. Like when I go, especially when I'm camping, the first thing that I do is put up an earth altar. I frequent this one spot since 2021. I've been to other places, but this is like my home outside of home. So I've gotten to know this land through many seasons. And that's where the comfortability comes from. I know what it looks like in monsoon season. Okay. I got rained out one day because it just started downpouring and my car was rocking. And it's the desert, so it's not a lot of cover, right?
There's nowhere to run. Yep.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I got to real quick. So I know this place across many different seasons. And I did have so the only animals I've seen were, the first time I ever went was a deer. Then the deer's never come back. There's free range cows there. So cows will kind of come through, and that is kind of trippy because sometimes they don't be looking like cows. It'd be like a little
You're like, what is that?
It'd be a little spirit, you know? And then Arizona, a little bit more context as well. Arizona has really laxed gun laws for like better, in my opinion. So you will hear people like in the morning, like, or like at sunset doing target practice like, far away. But those people are genuinely like really chill. Like if y'all have ever like hiked, those be the nicest white people. And like, that's the part to go. Hi. And they're like that when you're camping too, right? So one experience that I had though, most recently, actually, it was a full moon, I think. And I don't really like camping under full moons all the time because the moon be a whore. So you can't really stargaze, you know?
That's true. It wants all the show, all the shine.
Yeah. So like the whole, like a campsite is lit up. I can see. Don't really need to use too many flashlights or lanterns. And I was just out there doing a lot of energy work. It's my favorite place to do energy work at. So I have a really good relationship with those land spirits in particular. And I like the saguaros were like moving, like they were like walking. And it was, I think it was a full moon lunar eclipse. And this is when the eclipses first went into Aries and Libra. And so this eclipse cycle is lasting until 2025. And during this eclipse cycle, we're meant to be going through the crossroads, putting action to our medicine paths, really being, initiative, taking the initiative, you know? And so it was really interesting because I felt like I was in the middle of the crossroads and on my way there, like people were really rushed. They were driving really crazy. And when I got there, I felt that energy was also mirrored in the land where, at least to me, it looked like these saguaros were like moving. And they were like, and there was so much energetic traffic there. That was like, I feel like if I stay the night this time, I'm gonna be sleeping in the middle of the road because you guys are moving too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was during a full moon?
Yeah, it was a full lunar eclipse. Yeah.
Man, I think that.
Sorry, somebody's car was going off again, so I had to mute. But I was asking, are you following the full moon that's coming tonight, the snow moon?
Yeah, usually during full moons, I go like make a little video or something like that. But this full moon is...
Any tips? Because I need it. I'm going through some things. Any tips for this full moon coming up?
Go to sleep.
And that's what
I might just do that.
That's what I want. Like my body is so exhausted. Like that's what I've been craving.
Yeah, there's so Mars and Venus are actually conjunct, which just means that they appear to be on top of each other in Aquarius right now. And so that energy coupled with like the full moon and Virgo energy, to me, it feels like a micro Mercury retrograde. Right. And so I'm kind of like, I don't really have, I feel like I saved all of my talking energy for this podcast. Like, I don't really have too much to say today. I'm probably going to like post some affirmations or something. But I think We're in Pisces season. It's the last chapter of the astrological year. So just really focusing on integration, really focusing on taking care of our bodies before the new year, the spring, you know?
Yeah, because the real New Year is in spring. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people make these New Year goals, on the 31st, and it's still like the age of, like, from what I know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, of where things are still dying. Spring, things are becoming alive. Around, what is that, March, end of March,
Middle of March, like March 20th, like spring equinox.
That's the real New Year. A lot of people really don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Because isn't astrology, don't the zodiacs technically start with, is it Aries season or is it Aquarius? I forget which one. It's Aries, yeah. So which is technically spring, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so a little jit like me, I love to play in all calendars. Like, so I'm gonna celebrate the Gregorian New Year and set intentions at that point. I'm gonna celebrate the Chinese New Year and set intentions at that point.
Same.
And then, but at the same time, I know that my body's circadian rhythm and my body's New Year is gonna be in spring equinox. But I used to be like, niggas ain't, well, that's not real. But I'm kind of like, you know what? There's some medicine to playing in all realms. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And with that being said, Ree has a very important question for you.
I do, because honestly, like, just first of all, just hearing just the in-depth explanations of these different lanes within astrology and affirmations and things like that, for hearing that from you this morning is really helping me to realize that there is so much more to this that I haven't even tapped into, that I'm so looking forward to tapping into. And I think many people are going to feel the same way. With that, though, I'm sure you've experienced the naysayers and folks who are like, oh, I don't really believe in that, or that doesn't make any sense. Like, how do you combat that? Like, what is one thing that you would tell someone who's like, this isn't real, or they just cannot even get on board or even begin to get on board with this?
Okay. So like all things, I have many answers, but I think to keep it succinct, is what I said before, like, astrology does not require your belief. It's not a belief. It is, we are on one planet in orbit with at least 8 other planets, revolving around a sun on one arm of at least 16 arms of one galaxy. Of how many galaxies? We're in a cosmic wind, right? So astrology is really us relating to the wind, the winds that the other planets inside of our solar system gives off, right? So astrology is us relating to the winds that the other planets inside of our solar system gives off. And you can choose to be like, I only care about the winds that I can see, aka the seasons. That's cool, but it's still going to impact you. That doesn't mean that it's still not there. Real. Just because you're not into it doesn't mean that it's not real. Doesn't mean that it's not still impacting you, because like I said before, it's like you can go outside in the middle of May with a big burly North Face coat on, but you're still going to be hot. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't really require that. I think in like these days, I'm much more respectful of people's paths, because it just may not be in the cards for you to work with that. I think that it would be really cool if society could get to a place where, as we're doing the meteorology weather reports, there's also some astro weather reports. I think that would be great. Cool. And so, yeah, but I'm respectful of where everyone is, for sure, because there's medicine wherever you are.
Yes. And I love that you keep using the word medicine. I think people, I see it every day. A lot of people may not know this, but I attempted to get involved in the physical therapy world as basically an assistant. They called it, you're called a PTA, but it's basically like a nurse to the physical therapist. And far too often in that field, and even not in that field, just in my day-to-day, I just see so many people thinking that medicine really is this manufactured pill that's fake, that doesn't even come from the earth, that's trying to mimic an herb that does actually come from the earth. I see basically that type of fake medicine destroying people's lives. And then really and truly, the real medicine that can really help you it's a spiritual thing, not a religious thing. It's the stars are real. They don't lie. The moon literally generates the cycles for women. Like, we're connected to that, and we're so disconnected with it and taking this Western medicine all the time, wanting it to solve all of our problems, and then not getting to the root, which unfortunately, whether you like it or not, like you were saying, astrology is really real. Like, it's God gave us these stars and the sun and the moon and the seasons and everything for a reason, in my opinion. Whatever you call God, and we can tap into that, or we can't, and then we can keep popping these Western medicine pills and thinking that our problems are going to go away. With that being said, the question that I have for you next, what are like the steps to that one person who is hearing us out right now and it's like, you know what? My family may be against astrology, or everything that I've been taught is that that's fake or evil or whatever, negative connotations are, added to astrology. What tips and advice would you give that one person who is thinking about getting to know their selves via astrology better?
I love it.
But they're fearful. They may be a little bit fearful because it's new. A lot of people don't know about this.
I would advise them to audit their interests first. Because when you look at my favorite thing about being an astrologer is that when I'm reading a person's chart, I am confirming what they already know. So I think when you're auditing your interests, auditing your journey so far, and really you get to see how you're always on time and you always have been. Right now you may be ready to take a deeper step or to take a step up, depending on which view you want to look at it in, as far as your awareness and your intentionality. But definitely your birth chart is a really good place to start, of course, because then you get to kind of compare and contrast with what your chart is saying versus your own experiences. So not approaching your birth chart as, I have my moon in the 6th house, so that's why I'm anal about what I eat. But more so like, oh, I am very particular about what I eat, and I see that it kind of hits this way. And so that's my umbrella advice. I think getting a little bit more succinct, right? One thing that really helped me, y'all, I'm a big journaler. I'm a big planner, writer person. And so I, years ago, would write the dates in my journal, standard format. Then I'd also write where the sun is, the moon is, Mercury, Venus, Mars. And after about 3 months, because that's one thing I'll say as well, don't get into astrology and be unwilling to see yourself unfold across seasons. This practice takes seasons. It's not about downloading information. It's not about downloading what Google says. It's about taking a step up and being proactive in our cosmic community. And that takes time. That takes at least 3 moon transits, okay? At least 3. And I also want to say here, if you went to manifestation and conjuring, but you can't stay focused for at least 3 moon cycles, you in the wrong business, baby. You in the wrong business. So kind of going back, right? So I would in my journal, I would be like, okay, cool. I noticed that ironically, it's a full moon in Virgo. It's on my Mars in Virgo. This is the time where, for me, naturally, I'm cleaning, I'm reorganizing, I'm a little bit more effective. My communication is clear. The energy that I'm efforting is landing well, and so learning your own cycles with the moon, you may have a Gemini rising. So when the moon is in Gemini, you might find yourself freestyling a little bit more. You might find yourself playing with colors a little bit more. You feel what I'm saying? So it's really a partnership between being reflective of how you naturally are in these seasons, and then also acquiring the knowledge that's already out there about what that may mean, but not having that anchor in your crown that it supersedes what your relationship to these cycles are, right? What your medicine is, right? Because Leo moon may be a time, when the moon is in Leo.
That's Rhiannon, by the way.
Hey, it may be a time where, you feel really emboldened, you feel beautiful, you want to you might have a little bit of shame stuff come up, or being seen stuff come up. But for another person, it may be a time where they're like, listen, I don't want to kick it with you. I don't want to talk with you. I don't want to date with you. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's really that partnership of being a student and learning your cycles, and then also understanding what's happening in the transiting perspective for the collective if you want. And I feel like when we approach astrology as like, yo, when the moon is in Taurus, I'm the most effective because my Mars is in Taurus. When we approach it that way, it becomes ours and not like a dogmatic cult, you know?
Thank you for that. Thank you for clarifying that.
For sure. I also want to add here too. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I also want to add here too. My Leyline Almanac journal, sigil journal, and Astro Weekly Planner is for the budding and blossomed Earth stewards. So the weekly planner pages has a section for you to write, to fill in the date with where the sun is, where the moon is, just how I'm saying, so that it can kind of help you relate and begin this relationship. And I will be dropping it every year. So just to say that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. And speaking
Bree,
of that,
you might want to ask her my question instead, because
oh wait, hold on. Let me see your question. Let's see.
Because she brought up the gold mine.
The Leyline Almanac or the Leyline?
Leyline Almanac.
Leyline Almanac. Okay. Now that we're here, can you please explain what this is and what it's all about, and why you created it?
My pleasure. So the Farmer's Almanac is the traditional almanac that follows the full moons from an indigenous and astrological perspective. So farmers would use it. So for example, how tonight is the snow moon, and it follows the different rhythms of the seasons. There's also, in traditional farmers' almanacs, there are planting informations, there are astrological informations, there are like numbers for people to connect. It was kind of like a bulletin board for the year, right? Of big things happening for the year. And so for me as a ley line practitioner, and for those that don't know, the ley lines are these energetic highways and meridians that exist within and across the earth. Now, a good kind of parallel to this is talking a little bit about grid work. I promise it will all be full circle.
Wait, are the pyramids tied into those ley lines? I have a feeling they probably are.
And some of these other monuments around.
Yes.
Bro, that's why there's pyramids everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, I just put two and two together.
No, watching 2 and 2 be put together is like one of my favorite things to witness. So you're good. But yeah, so we're gonna kind of go in a full circle, but I don't want to just tell people what it is. I kind of want to explain the context, right? So grid work, in my perspective, is the metaphysical science behind erecting a city, right? Why do we have reoccurring street names? Why is it that no matter what street you go to in America, you'll have a Lombard Street, a Columbus Boulevard, a Arch Street, a Vine Street? There is a rhythm to this. Now, you can get a little bit jaded and, go down the Masonic rabbit hole, right? But let's stay a little bit zoomed out because, one thing about me as an energy worker, I may not respect the game, but I'm going to always respect the practitioner, right? So I respect the practicing science of how do you erect the nation, right? How do you erect an artificial society on top of an organic place? So to me, that's more like grid work, like where the strategic math behind where an Air Force base is placed, right? The math behind Washington, D.C. and how does the energy...
You see how stuff is lined up back home. Like, you can see it. It's like, wait, why is this right here? And why is... Okay.
And it's like...
It's intentional.
And when you encounter people that are so... I'm gonna call it in the cauldron of that worldview, they can't really see or hear or perceive outside of it, right? And it's a really energetic organization. A quick little mini story to kind of help ground this, right? When I was living in Baltimore, and I think Baltimore is a great example of what I'm talking about, and it also ties into like redlining and things like that. So I lived on the side of Madison. I lived on the side of Madison Avenue, right? And then when you go to like this one street, Utah Street, it's like the Indian park, and it's so cute, like rings of roses and big, beautiful trees. And then when you go on the other side of that median, you're in Bolton Hill. In Bolton Hill, like the architecture is more Victorian. It's really, really beautiful. When you're walking around that neighborhood, you're inspired to kind of like look up. You're inspired to take your time to take the beauty in. But when you go back to that median, that Utah, on Utah, and then you cross that side to where I lived at, there's like project homes that are like cinder blocked up. You kind of like your head kind of want to swivel a little bit more, a little pop kind of getting your shoulder a little bit more, because the energetic container is so structured, right? Even though they are so close together, right? And so this is how I got into ley line work. And again, we're going to circle to the ley line almanac in a bit, but my guides would have me like wake up in the morning and do like qigong with the trees on the Madison side, right? And then I would walk around, and I would go from my side, cross Utah to Bolton Hill, and I would notice the shifts. And I did that for about 3 months. And then they had me like kind of engage the mental pollution on both sides, because I also would notice that people on the Madison side wouldn't even go to the little median park in Utah. They're like, I don't go over, and it's right there. It's really beautiful in the middle of the street, right? And then I also noticed that the Bolton Hill folks would be over there. They'd be taking care of like the hyacinth and all these beautiful plants, but they also wouldn't go to the other side, right? So that was my first kind of lessons of working with the ley lines, of helping the energy underneath the grid flow and helping it kind of return back, and like really needing that, like that place. And so I am a ley line practitioner, and this is what I do across the earth. This is what I do for clients. This is what I do for the earth. I help to restore, replenish, and remember the ley lines, because this United States grid is oppressive to the energy that's already here.
You can feel it. You can feel it all across the nation.
Yes. And there are so many of us that have reincarnated to kind of help bridge the ley lines back into place, and also to begin repairing our relationship with the elemental kingdoms around us, right? One of my favorite places, Shay will tell you, in Baltimore is Gunpowder Falls. And I'm going there.
We didn't know about that Gunpowder Falls.
You do?
I do.
That big tree that has like that open room when you go down there, like that's my surety. Love her down, And so I love working with the natural energy of a place and helping it to have more weight up against these energetic grids that we know as the United States, right? So the ley line almanac is a reoccurring sigil journal and astro planner. Now I have to pause to talk about sigil journals. Sigils. So sigils themselves are just symbols that hold meaning, right? Now, before I get into more of the esoteric understanding, I'm going to just give it straight, right? When you see the Nike check, you know that means Nike. The word Nike don't got to be there, right? When you see the Nissan car symbol, you know that's Nissan. When you see the Jaguar car emblem, you know that's a Jag. You see the double R, oh, you know what time it is, right?
It's a roll.
Right, right. And so that is that's basically what a sigil is. It is a symbol that holds meaning, that points to something energetically, right? When you look at in Celtic culture, you look at runes, right? And how these shapes and symbols kind of hold an energy. Like my name, Saki Savavi, the shapes and symbols within that name, the S, the A, the V, the K, the I, they hold a symbol.
That sound like a rap. God dang.
I know. I thought the same thing. I was like, wait.
The
A, the K, the I.
Yeah, they hold an energy, right? So with sigils, we can make them to hold energy. Now, I'll give another more ancestral example. If you go down into New Orleans and to like South Carolina, you'll see these really cool blacksmiths that made these really beautiful gates, right? And they have these really
the ironwork is crazy.
Yeah, they have this really cool design on them, but energetically, they hold the purpose of protection because it was crazy down there, right? So you would go to an African American blacksmith, and he'd make you a gate, And the front view purpose of that was to, oh yeah, just a gate for my home. But the back view
It's for
purpose of that
protection.
is a ward, right? So you can use sigils for many different things. My face tats here are sigils. And so one of my core practices is making these symbols and weaving them into my life. They keep me grounded. They charge my energy field. They keep me vibrant. They keep certain energies out, and they help to keep me contained. So in the sigil journal, there's a section for the beginning of each zodiac season where you get to imagine that zodiac season. You get to write your intentions down. You get to turn it into a sigil. There's more instructions on how to do that at the beginning of the book. And then you get to charge that sigil, that intention, and bring it back into view. And so, like I was saying earlier, right? Like, how can we claim to be conjurers or successful manifestors if we can't keep our attention for over 3 months on something? And so this sigil journal kind of helps us with that in that respect. And then there's also a page for you to like make a sigil for the entire year, each zodiac season, and then one page for you to track all of them. Now, zooming out a little bit, so the Leyline Almanac is an offering that will come every single year for as long as I can do it. I hope like my kids and my grandkids, God willing, knock on wood, will carry it forward. But yeah, it has all of the full moons from March 2024 to March 2025, all of the retrogrades. It has a calendar view. But what makes it a little bit different, this is that step up, is that it starts March 20th and ends April 20th, the first calendar, because that's Aries season, right? But we still have everything we still have everything like Easter on there. We still have like Good Friday, like all the Gregorian standard global holiday practices. But the step up is to now, we know how to work with Greg's time. We did it our whole lives, right? So let's enter the conversation at a celestial point, right? Then we have the weekly overviews with sections for you to keep track of your high level tasks. We have a consistency bar at the bottom. And I didn't want it to be like rated 1 out of 10. I wanted it to be like, just like fill it in a little bit. Like, how would you rate your consistency? Was it all the way full? Is it a little bit full? But remember that consistency looks different each day. It's just about showing up, right? Yeah. And so that's the Leyline Almanac. Next year, I hope to make it even bigger and add more things in it. But for this year, it's just a sigil journal for you to write your intentions for each astrological year. It has weekly planners for you to write high level things, as well as where the moon is and all that type of stuff. And then we also have the monthly view of each zodiac season. And on those calendars too, we also have marked the full moons, the new moons, the eclipses, the Mercury retrogrades, just so that, as I was saying before, when it becomes a part of your life, that's where the deepening and understanding comes from.
Yes.
Right. So just adding it on a calendar.
I need to know, because now I want to get one. So I need to know, where can we purchase the Leyline Almanac and keep up with you in general? Because if people are not following you, man, you got the coolest videos and the coolest positive affirmations. And where?
So you can get the Leyline. You can get the Leyline Almanac on my website, celestialdrip.com. That's SELESTIL drip.com. And
I love that.
Me too. I love that name.
Celestialdrip.com. Y'all heard it? Celestialdrip.com. You hear me?
Yeah, you'll get it there.
Stop playing.
And then y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Saki Savavi. And my TikTok is Celestial Saki with an S, because I just really like S's, y'all. So Celestial Saki with an S. Yeah. You can also book one-on-one consultations there too. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This wasn't on the question, but Rhea, I don't know about you, but I got another question. Okay, look.
Okay, go ahead.
Real quick, because I know you can't read me, and I'm gonna have to pay. People, you have to pay to get the good service. Okay, so I will be paying to get this service eventually when I have time and when she has time, right? But just on the surface, my sun is in Aries, my moon is in Gemini, and my rising is in Scorpio. Just one little word of advice off of just hearing that. I know you need to know more information, but I struggle every day of my life because of those things.
Ground often.
And that's see. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you?
And then
And also,
I'm gonna get a reading with you too, ASAP.
yeah.
We got to talk.
Oh, I got the family link, so I got you. So ground often, and then also unclench around your shame and guilt.
Ooh, girl.
Scorpio
Whoa,
rising.
whoa.
You just read me so quick.
Yeah.
Can you say that again? Wait, can you say that again? Can you say that again? Can you say that again?
Wow.
Ground often and unclench around your shame and guilt.
Girl,
Lee?
okay. Child, okay. I'm gonna
And
shut up. I'm gonna just.
hold on, Ree. I'm gonna say this too because see, this why. Okay, so okay. All right, y'all, chill. So,
It's
it's not y'all. It's not y'all. It's Lee guys.
My guys?
Yeah. So the thing is with you, Lee, because you have so much Aries and Gemini energy, it's easy for you to pretend to transmute, and you can
I
make
do it all the
everybody else
time.
believe it. You make yourself believe it, but at the
I do it
same
all the
time,
time.
but at the same time, like you like. So it's that deeper layer. It's like unclench and it's, the word is they're saying is unclench and ungrip. From the back of the heart. You need to work more on relaxing the back of your energy centers. Yeah.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do my
Thank you,
TikTok,
Saki.
please? Just
Thank
like
you,
literally
Saki.
just one line. I'm just so yeah. Well, only yeah. I'm definitely getting my own reading, but to hear what you just spoke it to Lee and to know Lee and to know
She knows. Like that was what I needed to hear.
that's huge. Okay, my sun is in Gemini, my moon is in Leo, my rising is in Sagittarius. So a lot of air and fire.
That's why we're friends. We're both crazy as hell.
Yeah.
Okay. You said Gemini, Sun, Leo, Moon, Sag, Rising.
Sag rising. Yeah.
Be for real. Be for real. You are the drama.
Oh shit.
Coming up is that you like a really
Like
good.
video went off because she just read.
That's why we're friends, though. That's why we're friends. Because that's when me and her get together. That's what we be doing.
Yeah, I mean, y'all have that moon energy, but for you, Ree, it's like you're a really good airbender in a lot of ways. So you can shape shift yourself in and out of shit. But that like accountability thing, you be like, accountability is personal. So you are the drama, but also what's coming up is that you really need to prioritize your relationship with water if you haven't been. They're showing me that you're, and when I say they, I mean your guys specifically. I like to name the they. Your guys are showing me that you need to really spend time with water. I don't know. We can maybe talk about this later, but I don't know if you have like an elemental altar, but you would do good with a water elemental altar, bringing more seashells, more pearls into your like style and dress, and then like cleansing your head with salt water more often. Because that when you think about air and fire, it kind of can kick up dust, right? It can kind of scorch things. And so bringing more of that water in, I got
goosebumps, by the way. I'm just saying.
I'm thinking about,
also, I'm sorry, y'all, but also you have a really interesting connection to the West Coast, the land itself, but it's really the water. It's the water that causes there. It's not really the land.
Wow.
I'm gonna turn this off now.
It's crazy that you said that, just because particularly over the last several weeks, and I don't know if you've been getting the rain that we've been getting out here in LA, Cali. Yeah. It's been on my mind, and yesterday was probably the first day we had some semi decent weather since the rain. Like it was like in 70s, almost 80 degrees, and I think we're getting one today. But ever since that change happened, all that's been on my mind is getting back to the beach, is getting back to the shore, like it's getting back to the coastline, which is not far from me. So it's definitely making me think. I appreciate that, truly.
I'm glad that you brought into view the atmospheric river, because that watching it on like my radar app, so lets you see like all the weather stuff in really cool perspective. And those elementals were bringing so much medicine to the West Coast. We got a bit of rain as well ourselves, and I was collecting it, and it's very, very potent. How it looks to me is almost like glowing electric blue and gold type of a rain. But yeah, that Pacific, and in Wales. Okay, I'm trying, but yeah, I say when I open that faucet, they be like, no, 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 no. But
Saki,
yeah,
you got a gift, girl.
Yeah, you really do.
I'm witnessing.
You really do.
Y'all, if you're witnessing this, right? This is very real. Like, you can say stuff like this is not real. I'm telling you, like, this girl has a gift. She just read my whole soul. Like, when she said she was speaking to my spirit guides, that's very real. Same for Rhea as well. Whew.
And something I'm thinking too. Something I'm thinking too is when you said I need to be more connected to water. To me, water also signifies depth, and I think that's something that over the last probably 5 years, when you talk about like being a pandemic baby and all the changes that we all went through during that time, I think that's something that has been at the forefront for me. It's something that I've been experimenting with more, and just have evolved as a result of just wanting to present with more depth, wanting to have deeper friendships, deeper relationships with the people that I care about, and being more open to being just vulnerable and honest about who I am and how I'm feeling at any time, So when I think about water, and if you think about water signs too, like my sister's a Cancer, we have other water signs in our families, that those signs, a lot of times they have it's a different type of depth. It's a beautiful depth, right? Like they kind of experience the world in a different way, and they experience it intensely, from what I understand, in a way that I think sometimes air signs and fire signs like we'll dabble in it a little bit, but it's not like necessarily always our like comfortable place. Like we're most comfortable like being up here, whereas like other signs are a little bit more grounded and a little more deep. So yeah, that's something for me that I want to definitely continue to grow in that way for sure. So Saki, I'm telling you right now, like, once again, every time I'm with this girl, I am taken to a place. She's always getting me together, and she's always just opening up just opening me up. So I appreciate it, really. And I will definitely be getting a full reading, because where I'm at in my life, I definitely
Y'all get your bookings with her before she's booked, because she about to be booked with me ASAP.
Yeah, same.
I'm now looking for the spring, and I also want to say for the two of you together, like y'all's friendship, and then also this podcast, right? You guys are connecting people with the depth and the heat and the core of the earth, right? Like I know a lot of people think that fire is a really superficial element, but look at volcanoes, right? And when a volcano burns, it leaves some of the most fertile soil left, the volcanic ash that they used to make wine with. You feel what I'm saying? So thank you guys for coming together and for taking care of your friendship, and I hope that you guys continue to take care of your friendship, because it does a lot for y'all on a soul level.
Saki. Oh my God. Okay, I'm not gonna get emotional. Saki, I've known your gifts, but you're a grown ass woman now. I've seen your evolution. Y'all just witnessed her gifts firsthand. Please reach out to this girl and get booked before you're not going to be able to book her, because it's only a matter of time before she's going to be in high demand, if she chooses to do so. Like, this girl is really talented. So thank you, Saki, so much for being our guest today. You have no idea how thankful we are. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thankful and proud. So proud.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. No, because we just got read. We just got read for good and for filth. Shay, you got anything to say to Shay, the Capricorn? Hold on, wait a minute.
Wait, Shay, what are your placements, Shay?
I was thinking. I know what I'm doing.
I had to catch Shock up on life shit also at some point. But Capricorn, Sun, Taurus, Moon, Libra rising.
Just take up more space. Listen, the read for you already came, but I was just saving my sister. Your guys was like, the read for you came. No, it's just take up more space. Take up more space and move more sure-footed. Move more sure-footed. And Shay, you're what they call in Yiddish a yenta, right? And a yenta is a person that's a matchmaker, a person that brings people together. I think they use it a little bit more romantically, but that's that Libra rising in you, right? Like you and you're Capricorn Sun too. You're a really great tastemaker, and you move in and out of realms. I would actually say like Shay, like hold on, let me. I will get sappy, so that's why I was trying to say. Shay.
I know. I already. It's okay. Already watery, honestly.
But nah,
you can get sappy.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, Shay was my first reference point of an actual friend that didn't like me romantically, and it's because of my.
Hey, listen. As people, because I think what me and Saki both have in common is that we have some masculine traits, even though we're females. I've had that issue too, and like it can get real messy real quick.
Yeah.
It's so great when you find a friend that's not trying to just have sex with you. Like they really want to be your fucking friend.
Yeah.
And like my soul sister and Shay, and this is where the yenta is coming in at, because I think you were one of the first people that showed me that I could be everything depending on what container I'm in. Because you remember in college, I was big, like, you remember how I was. And so you're one of those really beautiful reference points. And that's why the one of the biggest things that your guides are saying is to just take up more space. Be in the space that you curated. You don't have to be out of the space in order to tend it well. Right?
Ooh, wow.
You can still be in
Sister, are you crying?
Yeah.
That's my Shay.
I haven't even told Sock. I'm like in the middle. I mean, I told y'all, but I didn't even talk to Sock about it yet. How, like I put in my 2 weeks for my job, Sock, and I'm just like, I feel a weight lifted off of my shoulders in a lot of ways, because I know I didn't belong there, but the earthy side of me the earthy side of me that wants like stability and just to be okay. I'm like struggling to find the balance to like be able to monetize my creativity but still like feel like okay as an adult. I just I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do that now, because it just feels like not even you, but like even my supervisor was like, you don't belong here, you are a creative being. I remember when you showed me one of your videos, like, we need that girl in that video, and I was like, fuck. So
no, I'm gonna call you after this, but I want to say that Shay, you are literally ancestors, baby. Like literally, like like I remember we was in college and you was already on a you are literally a child of the Chesapeake Bay and of the Atlantic Ocean. So you're like good, like you are so good and taken care of. You have a beautiful community. You have an amazing partner. You feel like you are so taken care of, but it be that Capricorn shit where you like, oh, but it's like I just want to reiterate this point that came through, was that like you don't have to be out of the space in order to receive from it. You bring so much medicine to every place that you're at. You're to this day you're still like the most put together Capricorn I've ever met, as far as like emotionally, as far as like emotional range, and you know what I mean? Like Capricorns be like little demons.
Yeah.
Right? So like
She ain't lying. She ain't lying.
Yeah, so like and that's
I bet you do like Capricorns.
Yeah,
I do.
And that's because they like you are just such ancestors, baby, and you know it, and you give it, like you give that medicine, but remember to give that medicine to yourself and to save yourself. And everyone listening, your medicine is first and foremost for yourself. And there's nothing selfish about that PEMDAS / ordered operation. You gotta be the P in your PEMDAS, your PAT.
Oh, I love that.
And Shay, you bring your medicine.
Gotta be the P in your PEMDAS.
Yeah, and Shay, you bring your medicine to everything that you do. The container isn't your medicine; is what you bring that is your medicine. And so let that container shape shift and transform. And I'm gonna just call you after this because I can keep going.
Y'all gotta talk.
Wow, man, thank you. I was Not expecting to cry, but
yeah, you made me cry.
Yeah, sorry,
you know I'm a real one. You know I'm a real one. Hey, y'all. Just because I cry, don't let that fool you. Just because she cried, don't let that fool you. We Carolyn's daughters, okay?
Oh my
don't
God.
forget. Don't forget. It's on. You feeling me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
and I'll be crying at some point for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you.
My Venus is in Cancer, Saki. So just so you know.
Oh yeah.
That's where that's where my conflict is. That's where.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Watch your relationship to your womb transform too, for real. Yeah.
Okay.
No kidding. Okay.
Okay. I ain't gonna ask no more questions.
Well, let's wrap up. Thank y'all so much for listening to this episode. Thank you, Saki was our very first guest. So give it up. Woo woo!
Yeah. Our
Sock, please give him Sock your social media handle one more time, please, for those that didn't hear it in the back.
My Twitter and my Instagram is at Saki Savavi, SakiSavavi. My TikTok is Celestial Saki, Selestial Saki. And my website is Celestial Drip, Selestial drip.com.
Yes, thank you, Saki.
Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you, Saki.
Guys.
All right, bye.